This is a review that I've been wanting to do for a while. It's taken a little bit of time for a number of reasons, and I'll go over what those reasons are here shortly. But a while back, I reviewed two devices, one being the Arrowmax uh, grinder and polisher, and the Arrowmax drill. Which, yeah, they do look remarkably similar. And I'll go over that too in a little bit. This one's already on. Um, so what happened is I went all in, right? I purchased probably the two most expensive drill and grinder kits they sold. They were very nice. I was very impressed by the fit and finish. Initially, when I did the review, I took them out. They came in these nice anodized aluminum cases with a push spring function. The drill bits are all set in there. The drills are all in there. It's really, really nice. Very nice set. I was very impressed with the quality of the devices. That was the drill. The burnisher and polisher came in this kit. So it came with a bag. And also, I mean, it's got some heft to it too. This one has a built-in magnetic charger, and we'll talk about that in a little bit too, because that's got its own set of problems. So this one pops out also. You can see where it was kind of coming out off the top here. So you got another thing. Not really impressed by. But anyway, yeah, this one's also very nice. Came with a nice array of different types of grinding tips and polishing and different types of shapes for those as well. But again, there were problems. So when I initially reviewed these, has it been a year? I don't even know. But I initially reviewed these. It was a favorable review. It was. I was super impressed with the quality of the devices, the packaging. The instructions were fairly clear. This one in particular had a Bluetooth function that allowed you to connect it to an app on your phone, and you could manually adjust the RPMs of the rotation of the device on your phone. You could say it's got 4 different settings, and I want this setting to be 1400 RPM, this one to be 5000, this one to be 10,000. So as you cycle through them on your device, it would follow whatever you programmed into it, which is super, super cool. I tested it. It worked. I very mildly tested on just removing a couple of, not burrs, but some little bits that were hanging out on a 3D print that I did. I mean, that you can't get much more mild a test than that. I mean, it was a PLA print that just had a little bit of stringiness to it. And I just very gently ground over it with that. And this thing was awesome. The drill was equally impressive. I didn't put it through anything really that would require a lot of torque. Another thing we'll talk about on these. But it did just what it was supposed to do. So overall, I was impressed. I gave it a favorable review. Not too much longer after that, because I'd been wanting an opportunity to use them, because I did spend some money, and I'll go over how much money I actually spent on these things. But let's set them down here, because there's a story behind it. So some of you may already know from some comments I've made on other reviewers' videos about my experience with these. And what happened was a few months went by, and I had been dying to use these. I finally had an opportunity on a model I was building, and I pulled them out. I made sure they were fully charged. And one of the first things I noticed was the drill. The drill would not turn on. It wouldn't function. I mean, I couldn't get it to do anything. I thought maybe I hadn't charged it enough, so I took it out. This takes a USB-C charger, by the way. So I USB-C charged it, and I noticed as soon as I charged it, the screen came on. So I unplugged it again. Screen turned off. I pressed it, and it started working. So I was like, oh, okay, well, that's weird. Maybe it's just some sort of a little hiccup. And what I noticed is I couldn't actually use it unless I plugged it into the charging cable and then quickly unplugged it. Otherwise, it was a brick, which is just a really weird thing for it to do. It's like if your phone didn't work, but if you plugged it in for a split second, it would start up again. And also, this wouldn't hold a very long charge either. So I had to figure, okay, well, maybe there's some kind of battery issue, or something to do with the USB interface, or maybe there's some programmer in there that isn't recognizing that it's got full power. But it was irritating. It also, I couldn't also adjust the torque settings very well, and it would kind of like run through a turn on, turn off, and then it was weird. It would go in reverse when I didn't want it to. I get to the burnisher, and that one has problems too. And this one's even worse because, again, I tested these. They had worked. I had no problems with them when I first bought them. It'd barely been a couple of months. I don't even think it was even a month when I first noticed there were problems. But I tried to turn this one on. Doesn't turn on at all. Totally bricked. Won't take a charge. Doesn't matter how long I leave it. You see the little light blinking on this magnetic charger. Never, ever would work. However, which was really peculiar, when I went to the Bluetooth settings on my phone to see if I could find it, it recognized there was a pen there, or this grinder there. So it was still linked, and I could still get into the settings. I just couldn't turn this on to make it work. So it was just bricked. There was nothing I could do with it. I wasn't about to take it apart. So I went through warranty with Arrowmax. I contacted them online. I said, look, I just bought these things. They've not even been used. What is going on? And I will tell you that dealing with the Arrowmax customer service, first, if you go to their website, there is no number. I mean, I found it eventually through their warranty service department, but there's no way to get a hold of anybody over there. They are located in China. And I understand Arrowmax, just to get this out of the way, it's a well-known brand. It is popular with the RC community, the remote control car people. They make a range of different really fancy looking screwdrivers, which are not cheap as far as screwdrivers go. And they also make these, and but they make them in a sort of a screwdriver format. And I guess, again, that's for people who work on small RC cars or electronics. Not a high torque, usually demanding type of function for this type of stuff. But I imagine, as with any power tool, the more torque you've got, the better, and the more control over that you have, the better. So when I was like, oh man, these things are adjustable, you can adjust the RPM. I really didn't pay attention too much to how much torque it actually have. Bottom line is, I did finally get somebody from Arrowmax after complaining about these things online, essentially harassing them via email and telling them, look, your product stinks. Can I get in contact with somebody? It seems like it's impossible to reach anyone. And they finally, after about a month of this, I think, emailed me back, and someone from their warranty center that I had emailed at some point got in touch with me, and we went through the process, which I want to say took roughly about a week or two to finalize the devices were not functioning and that they were going to replace them for me. So a very long time later, I'd say almost a month later, I did finally get my replacements in the mail. And the first thing you'll notice is one is not black. So I get an exact duplicate of the drill device, and I'll show you how that works here in a second. And I got this silver version of the burnisher and grinder. I still do not know if this hooks up to Bluetooth, but it does work. You can see the RPM listed there. There's the different functions. Automatic 1, 2, 3, and 4. So each one of these numbers represents a different RPM level. Let's set it at 2. Here's a slightly different hum. I still don't know what that's set to. I'll have to investigate that. But yeah, they gave me stuff that works. I don't know if they're refurbs. I'm going to guess they are. Maybe they're not. But they did finally give me some that work. I'm not super happy with the level of customer service. I did get them back, but I paid a lot of money for these. And when I say a lot, it's relative, right? For a device of this size, I think it was a large amount of money for what it does. And for your use case, you're not going to use this on drilling through wood. I would not expect that the torque would be that high. On one of their ads, they have somebody with one of their drills, and they're drilling through it looks like a half-inch piece of plywood with it. I would not recommend that. You would probably break the motor. It would be way too much strain on the motor. Even if it was successful, I would not guarantee the life of this thing would be very, very long if you did that kind of work. That's not what these are made for. I use them for drilling really tiny holes in very thin sheets of styrene. It's just quicker and easier, especially if you have a whole bunch to do. And it's got a lot of control. The form factor is really what attracted me to it. And they're very light. I mean, this one's got a bit more heft. I don't know what the reason for that is specifically, but the grinder has a lot more weight and a little bit of a longer form factor. But otherwise, it's pretty close. Would I buy these again? Would I recommend them? I had extremely high hopes for these. I really did. I think that even after everything I've been through, I still really like these tools. I'm going to use them as much as I can before they hopefully don't die again. And one more thing. It did come with this fancy little case. Like I said, it got stains on it, unfortunately. But there were some issues. I mean, even if these are fully functioning, I think people are going to run into some problems. So the first is this magnetic charger on the burnisher grinder. You've got a USB-C on this one. I love that. They go up to a full charge. Doesn't take that long. I really like the idea of this magnetic charger. I do. But in practice, it's a little bit scary because if you lose or damage that magnetic charger, Arrowmax, I'm talking to you, are you going to be able to get a replacement for it? My guess, based on the ordeal, first world problems, right? I would call it a less than comfortable or convenient experience trying to get replacements for these. But because of that, I would be a little bit wary rather of picking up the electric magnetic charger connection, just because I don't know how reliable that is. And if you damage it or damage the cable, where are you going to get another one? Maybe you can find one that's generic that fits this, but I don't know. The other thing is they're even though they did give me this replacement and the other device, which I was thankful for, and I said, hey, if you guys do a great job, I'm going to review that you did a great job. It was a pain. It was a pain to have to get through to anyone in there, and their response time was really, really not that great. uh, their website is not intuitive. Uh, there doesn't seem to be any means of getting anyone for support. It wasn't until I went through a warranty link, and it was so weird, you know. And you're dealing with a guy in China, and so the communication was real. I don't want to say he was rude. He was a bit short in his communications. It was sort of like, "Hey, do you think I can get?" "Yes, we'll do." And then that would be it. And you're like, "Are you going to repeat what I told you? I mean, are we cool? What's going on?" Stuff sounded like it was out of context. He was just real short with me. I'm assuming it's a he. Um, Again, I don't know. I don't know Chinese names that well. Uh, did he give me an English name? I don't even recall. But bottom line is, uh, if you're going to spend that, and I'll tell you how much I spent on these. Let me see real quick. I'll tell you on the invoice right here. How much did I spend on these devices? Let's look. And there was another feature which I thought was really cool that I also spent. So I bought 2 extra sets of drills. Let me go to my order details. This thing was, here we go. Okay, good. So that was one set, and this set was how much? I think I got them on sale at the time. Let me see if I can find the order details for them. Invoice. So my total after tax was $276. Yeah, not cheap. And what that actually included was and I think I got another $20 off of that later because a sale came up on Amazon. The vendor honored or not, actually didn't honor it. It was a whole trick. But I ended up spending on at the very end, after everything was said and done, about $256, $57, something like that, for the drill, the grinder with the kit, extra drill bits. In other words, another set of these little drill bits that I got, besides the ones that come in the box, the 2 cases, the package, and then a sort of a mini drill press. So what it is like a aluminum, billet aluminum assembled drill press. You mount these in there. You put your little device you're going to drill, and it's just what I said. It's a drill press. It allows you to press this in nice and straight to get perfect holes every time. And that worked. I mean, I like it. It's kind of cheesy, you know. It's one of those things that, did you really need that? I probably didn't, but I was like, I'm all in. I'm going to get all this stuff. So I want to see what all of this stuff does. So my advice is, I would double check to ensure that their warranty information is still up on their site, what their warranty information is, how much time you have to return these things, and what kind of promises can they make you. I would just contact the company flat out to say, look, hey, I just bought this, or I'm about to buy this. I want to know what kind of service you've got. What can you guarantee me you'll do if these stop functioning, and for how long will you warranty them? Like I said, with me, it was like just pulling my hair out to get to somebody. I did eventually. They did give me this, but I was just the initial disappointment, and all the time I waited to get them, and then the time I waited to get the replacements. It just left a sour taste in my mouth. I'm not gonna lie. I still like them. I just don't know if I would recommend them to somebody. Like I said, it's a very, very niche kind of use case for these. Maybe this is perfect for what you particularly need. I don't even know how to talk right now. But yeah, I mean, it was upsetting. It was something I wouldn't want anyone to have to deal with, to get just something working that they paid a lot of money for. And I don't know how long these last. I don't know what kind of warranty is. Like I said, communication was kind of rough. So the back and forth emails, having to send them my invoice information. I'm used to doing RMA stuff. I return stuff all the time. I get warranted items replaced all the time. This was among the most difficult. What I would recommend as a replacement or an alternative to this, I mean, there aren't a lot of companies. There are a lot of companies making small drills like this. There are. And I've read a lot of the reviews on those. Not all of them were great. Some of them are okay. And some of them, I don't even know if they were really available within the United States to get, unless you wanted to wait 3 months for shipping. These just perfectly fit the bill for what I was looking for. In the end, I mean, I still think they're very nicely made devices. I think the idea of them is great. I just don't think the execution was there 100%. And they really need to work on their customer service skills and post something that is extremely obvious for someone who is having problems on their website, so that you're not digging around having to try to find a way to get your stuff fixed. And I understand the amount of time it takes, especially if your company is overseas. But make it as easy as you can for your customer. Don't make them jump through hoops. That's just, nobody wants that. I'll probably look at. I'm looking at actually a Ryobi device. It's a cordless drill. They use these new lithium batteries they've got. You maybe want to check those out. If I get that, I'll do a review on that. It's nothing like this. It's a lot bigger, a lot bulkier and heavier, but I have, again, relatively high hopes for the functionality of that, and I'll test it. And if I don't like it, I'll return it. Simple as that. But as far as Arrowmax goes, it's hard for me to say a yes. It is. Even as much as I still kind of like them, I would just say, use your best judgment. Maybe you won't go through the same issues I did. Maybe they'll work perfectly out of the box and last you for years. I don't know. But maybe they won't. So I hate to kind of leave it on a big maybe. Do you, don't you? I try not to do that when I review. Usually when I review something, it's just a straight up yes or no. Like this item stinks or this item's awesome. In this case, like I said, it's a really great idea. They're really well made and they're very nice. But and when I say well made, I mean it is a functionally, physically nice looking and well made device. What's going on with their batteries and their motors? I don't know. I don't know what's going on with that. I don't know if I got a refurb the first time or just a bad batch, but yeah, I'm going to give this one, if I had to give it a 5 stars, let's say I'd probably give this like 2.5, 3 stars, just because of all the trouble I went through to get them. But, and also they're expensive, maybe you don't want to spend that much money on something like this. Certainly not if you're going to have to go through so much, have so many problems with getting them replaced. But anyway, I'll leave you guys with that. I just wanted to update the review. It's not all stars, It's not a glowing review. I wouldn't say it's necessarily a bad one either, but to me those are big things. Even if this device worked functionally and perfectly, just the hassle of having to try to find somebody within their company to contact me, and the level of customer service is just really wanting. But yeah, I'll let you guys go with that. If you're not already liking and subscribing to my channel, please do if you want to see some of my other reviews. I buy these all with my own money. I'm not supported by anybody or sponsored by anybody. I do this for my own personal enjoyment as a hobby. I'm just sharing my experience with you guys, so you don't have to go through the hassle that I did. Or maybe you'll at least have an understanding of what you're getting into if you do decide to get them. But you guys have a good weekend, and I will see you again later. Bye-bye.